Guys, something bad happened. Alright, so I may or may not have let the primary antagonist into the most sacred of chambers in this entire land, and he sent it all straight to hell. So that being said, let's not beat around the bush. Longshot, got it. Song of Storms, got it. Now it's time to go to Kokiri Forest and make our way to the Forest Temple. To get there, we need to go through the Sacred Forest Meadow. There are moblins there. This is where I remind you what kind of run we're doing. That means we're going to make our way through that meadow, which is now coincidentally going to be daytime. I'm sure nothing happened to me in another recording, without killing any of these guys. So the main trick of me being able to do this successfully is getting from this area where I'm in now to that little cove right there while back running, since I move faster that way. That one obviously didn't go too well, and that's where I was reminded of a little nuance with these moblins. So they're obviously set to patrol back and forth down these little walkways. However, their patrol will change if Link is spotted and they're able to push him all the way down to the end. So when he did that to me, suddenly his patrol changed to where he was only walking near that pool of water. So I had to wait for a little while before his patrol finally returned to what it used to be, so that I could have another crack at this. While we wait for this guy to slowly saunter his way out of my way, am I the only one that's upset they didn't do more with these guys in this game? Look at these things! They look absolutely brutal, at least by N64 standards. I would have loved to have actually had like outright fights with these guys, other than the one with the big club, and he barely counts. And there we go. Now we made it past the first moblin. Oh, but don't you worry, there's more to come. For some reason I'm still trying to avoid him here. It's not dawned on me that I could just simply move. Now where's the next one? Oh. Well, there's the next one. Good to know. Again, the problem with that is, now his patrol has moved towards this end of the walkway. So, I'm going to have to wait for him to make his way back. And once again, there's my target, the little cove to the side. Nope, not yet. Can't get hasty. Now, of course, this early in the game, I do have to be a little bit aware of my health. I only have 6 hearts. I haven't really been going out of my way for pieces of heart. Don't typically need to. Alright, let's try this again, and there we go. Now we're good. And now we're not. Well, we all make mistakes, don't we? Third time's a charm, right? Let's give it one more go. But I'm not going to wait around for him to walk back, and neither are you. There we go. Back in our little safe spot, and back in this one. We are now good to go. Alright. Don't walk around into the guard this time. Is it safe for me to come out? Ah! Well, the good news is I didn't walk right into him that time. And we're home free, at least for now. This one's a little bit different. This is the one where we gotta cut through the middle. Right there. And then cut straight across into the next path. Not a lot of room to work with here. And home free. I almost make a grave mistake and go back. Thankfully he's charged past that point already, so I can actually just correct my error and go back. He's not quick enough to catch me here. Alright, another one down. Another one to go. That one. Yeah, I don't always learn. Not right away anyway. Let's get him down there. And I could just sneak in there really easily. And now he can just walk right past us. And again, he can attack me for all I care now. He'll just push me into the water and that's fine. Just gotta deal with this last one, who we can speed up and get away from us, and then all I gotta do is deal with the club moblin, and we are home free into the Forest Temple. And just like that, here we are. Now to avoid killing this guy, I've just got to make him swing his club on his left, my right, and roll past him, a la Ganon. Spoilers. We talked to Sheikah, we have the Minuet Forest now, and now, of course, the next step is to actually go back to Kakariko. And why, you ask? Well, just in case I need more Deku Nuts, I figured while I had a full wallet, now would be the time to stock up. And it's a good idea to do so for me. There are quite a few big Skulltulas in the Forest Temple that I will want to stun to work around without killing them. Now we can enter the Forest Temple proper. Early on, there's not going to be a whole lot to report. All that's in this first room, there's a gold Skulltula, on these vines. And there are two Wolfos underneath me, but all they're going to do is make a lot of noise while I climb up here to get this key. Thankfully, the door itself is not locked or barred or anything like that, so the Wolfos can live on. But believe me, there's going to be casualties in this one. In fact, I'm sure everybody can think of at least 4 of them off the top of their head. 5, I guess, if you count the boss, which obviously you should. We're going to jump down, avoid the Wolfos. Now that they can deal a lot of damage themselves anyway, I bash my head on the door to give them another crack, but they still can't get the job done. Here's our first example of stunning the big Skulltula. You all remember that from the Deku Tree anyway. And we're going to watch the Poe sisters steal the fire away and prevent us from just skipping straight to the boss room. Not that we would be able to get into the boss room. Don't know if Phantom Ganon actually laid that part of the plan out for them. Really, all they did was put their, well, not their lives, they're kind of dead already. But I'm going to count it as killing them. It's actually a conundrum that I'm only just now realizing. Either way, they didn't really have to do that because I don't have the key to get in there anyway. Anyway, let's make our way out here to the courtyard. Of course, gonna avoid that giant Deku Baba. And yet again, we must make the slow climb. I guess I could have skipped some of this by using the hook shot, but it doesn't really matter. As we know, these guys aren't hard to avoid. If I'm lucky, some of them will turn their back to me anyway, and I can climb a little bit faster. Again, I hate showing parts like this because they're pretty redundant, but gotta do what I gotta do. And now they're both staring at me. RNGesus said no today. And fairly early on in the dungeon, we're going to come to our first kill here in this room, which is sad because the reward it gives us is only the compass, I believe it is. I don't think I opened the chest. Maybe I do, but I don't need to. But the problem is, both the doors are barred. So this blue bubble's got to go. And go we will. And now that we're past him, we can at least go through the door, and if we want, open the chest. Doesn't really matter. We know the Forest Temple like the back of our hand. Yeah, check to see what's in there anyway. It's the dungeon map. So I was wrong in the first place. Doesn't matter. Through the door, and I have no idea what I was trying to achieve here. For some reason, I hookshot it down to there. It worked. That was surprising. Either way, avoid the Skulltula. No danger there, obviously. And now we're going to make our way into what I'm sure is the only well we'll have to jump into in this game. Because what are the odds of something like that happening twice, right? Why would I need to go into 2 wells in one adventure game? I am at fairly low health, but thankfully that Baba can't really do anything, and there's a couple of hearts down here. No enemies. No nightmare-inducing enemies in this well. Nope. But of course, what is down here, other than hearts, is a key. Keys become very important. They open doors. I don't know what you want me to say for parts like this. There's not a lot to say. We're going to make our way out and make our way back into the main section of the Forest Temple. And thankfully, you know what part doesn't have any enemies in it? The sliding block puzzle room. And no, we're not going to sit here and watch a whole lot of me pushing blocks around, because there's no reason to. Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. First, we need to actually make our way into another one of the rooms on the side here. And our next casualties await. And it's our first introduction to the wonderful gentleman known as Stalphos. Boy, don't you love 3 hard runs with these guys. Yeah. And now, one of my favorite things about Ocarina of Time. Drinking 7-year-old milk that's been kept in our pocket. Strangely still nutritious. Thankfully you get a rhythm with these guys and they're not hard to deal with. Again, if you play the game you already know that. You can even jab them out of the air. When you play this game with 3 hearts as many times as I have, you get very accustomed to that. So we're only a few rooms into the Forest Temple and we've already had to take out 3 enemies. Yeah, now that we're in the adult stages of the game, the kill count is going to start going up a lot more quickly than it was as a child. Something else that's about to progress more quickly is, once again, the gameplay, because we're going to stun this Skulltula, and again, here comes the sliding block puzzle room. No enemies in here sans this one blue bubble that I could just run by, so I can thankfully just jump cut us up to the top of this big ladder. Like so. Much better. Thankfully the blue bubbles are one of the more prominent enemies in this dungeon, and they can't do a whole lot to me, but there are quite a few rooms where you have to destroy all the ones in there to open them. That's not going to help our cause, but can't be helped. Again, that was the question when I started this run the first time and decided to upload it, is just how low can we go kind of thing. We're going to backflip over a banister, and guess what? Here come more Stalphos. A trio this time. And it's always irritated me how this one has the audacity to show that he can just walk over gaps. I can't do that. You shouldn't be allowed to do that either. Honestly, he's a jerk. But he's a jerk that doesn't know how to use a shield, so he goes down pretty quickly. I'll take it. But here come his brothers. Let's just call these guys Ed, Ed, and Eddie. That sounds good to me. That one definitely was Ed, the first one. Although, I don't know, I feel like Ed would be all over this, and he'd be super good at the combat for no particular reason. Double D would just overcomplicate things, and Eddie would just... Actually, yeah, maybe the first one was Eddie. Because Eddie would definitely just be foolhardy and not think at all and just be aggressive. But they're all 3 down. Now, normally, I would be ecstatic to get the bow and arrow. It's one of my favorite weapons in the game. But, of course, I'm not going to be shooting a whole lot of keys with this or anything. So, honestly, it's just more of a puzzle-solving tool than anything. Case in point, let's fight our first post sister. Not that I can use... Well, I could use the bow and arrow on them, but it wouldn't really do any good. I never really know what the fastest way to get these post sisters to appear is. I've always just run up to them so I can hit them with the shield faster. And of course we can jump slash them. Probably one of my least favorite fights is with these 4. Although at least the last one's a little bit different, but that's not saying a whole lot. They're just so tedious. But 1 down, 3 to go. And I still have a whole thing of 7-year-old milk left. Or half of it, rather. I will say, despite my not caring for fighting them too much, and of course their design isn't necessarily unique when there's all kinds of different pose, I did appreciate them making a return to Majora's Mask in the Iconic Canyon area. For one, of course, they fit the bill for the theme of the area, but 2, it was just nice to see them make a return. Anyway, we got our second Poe. She's the same as the rest. The oldest sister at the end is the only one that's any kind of different, and that's not saying anything. But for the sake of completionists, oh great. You know, let's make this take longer, sure. I will go ahead and show the fight. First one was Joelle, this one is Beth. Was Beth, anyway. And if you couldn't guess by me doing the first two Poe Sisters back to back, guess what I nearly forgot to do? Come back here and untwist this hallway. Again, that whole thing of me not having the boss key, yeah, that would have actually happened had I not done this. And I would have felt really stupid. God knows that hasn't happened yet. Now we can actually get into the boss lair of Phantom Ganon, but of course first we have 2 more Poes to find. And 2 more blue bubbles to dispose of. Such a weird kind of enemy to throw at you as commonly as they do in this area. You've already beaten 3 temples. These kinds of enemies aren't that big of a deal anymore. So thanks for that, but at least it means we can move on. And now we got a Deku Baba in the way, and that's a problem because, oh. Well, I was going to say I can't blind something with no eyes, but as it would turn out, yes we can. And yet again, another maybe controversial enemy here in this Floor Master. Do those 3 count as 3 different enemies? I don't think they do, because they all spawn from the same one, so to me, that's one creature as far as I'm concerned. So another creature is felled and another key is obtained. And I forget that this plant is right here. And he nearly hits me. But thankfully we can skip ahead. We have reached what's the hallway. In fact, this is the second hallway. And we're going to go ahead and thankfully just walk past these green bubbles. Because again, much like that giant jellyfish in Jabu Jabu, they are not placed in a way that makes them any kind of threat. They can literally be walked around. Shoot the switch. Twisting the hallway makes them a little bit more of an inconvenience, but not by much. We can still walk right by them, which is why I don't show them again. Thankfully, these big Skulltulas aren't put anywhere where they're in our way as far as this falling ceiling's concerned. We can just walk around them, hit the switch, and still make it to the door to fight the 3rd Poe Sister, Amy. I always have to remember to wait there. I'm prone to try to run. Now, I could show you the whole sliding block puzzle for the 18th time, or I could just show you this magic trick. Hey look, it's the Poe Sister. Yet again, Amy fights just like her sisters. But at least they don't yank my chain at all, trying to get me to the 4th one. The 4th one will be pretty much right outside the door. And the good news is, pretty much after that, we're done. We pretty well have a straight shot, at least as far as this video will be concerned, to Phantom Ganon. We'll do the fight, and we'll be another temple down. There's the green fire. 1 more to go. And through this door, yet another ineffectively placed big Skulltula. Well, I suppose he's effectively placed, just Deku Nuts completely make them a moot point. Let's hop down here and fight Meg. I'm sure Family Guy jokes haven't been done to death on this chick. I don't know what commentary to put over this. It's literally a simple fight. I promise there's more interesting enemies to come. Just I don't have anything for this. Just shoot the one that spins. There's only 4 on screen at a given moment. Yay. Now, technically, there are 2 enemies in this basement room, and much like the Poe Sister sliding block puzzle, I could show you this whole sliding block room, or I could show you the one enemy of even semi-importance that still can't hurt me. It's this guy. He's all that's down here. Him and a gold Skulltula in the same room. Moving on. Has anyone ever done a Mario ROM hack of the painting that Phantom Ganon comes in and out of? Like, as an actual world of what would be in there? But that'd be interesting to see, so I should get on that. I like the Phantom Ganon fight. I like how it kind of gives you an advance warning of how regular Ganon's going to be to a certain degree anyway. Also need to use the signature trident of Ganondorf, or not Ganondorf, excuse me, Ganon. Since Ganon himself doesn't, in either capacity that you fight him in. I like when they appear on the same side. Much easier that way. One of my favorite things to do that I wish I would have illustrated here is to shoot him when he gets about halfway across the fighting area here. Because the way he just kind of rubber bands backwards on the horse is always hilarious to me. If you've never seen it, you should try it one day. Well, there you kind of get to see it there. I guess I didn't remember hitting him that way. Speaking of unconventional ways to hit Phantom Ganon, well, okay, not that way. It's pretty unconventional, bro, I think you'd agree. Definitely wasn't supposed to be able to hit him there, but I did. So I'm just realizing, when you beat Phantom Ganon, Ganondorf says he pulled the ghost from the space between dimensions. Did Ganondorf pull some kind of JoJo's Part 7 funny Valentine stuff? And like, pull another him from another timeline? Is that who this is? Just something that crossed my mind there. I don't know. Tell me what you think. And there he goes. Back between dimensions. Where he belongs. That's another dungeon down, and now we get a medallion. And we awaken Saria as a sage. Well, we are into the adult temples now. Hopefully things will get a little bit more interesting as we progress. I think they will. Hope you all are enjoying the series so far, and I will see you in a couple days for the next part.